marginalized and vulnerable communities in Kenya. We holistically co-create for innovations and skill development so that at least we can create change. And I think in this particular aspect, we focus on people living with albinism, the aged who are 90 years and above, and the teen mothers. All those are vulnerable and marginalized sectors. However, I'll zero in to the people living with albinism, and holistically you see how we embrace or how we create change. Because change can only happen through a co-creation. Good. The myths and misconceptions surrounding our people living with albinism are so wide, and especially in the sub-Saharan region. People believe people living with albinism are not human beings. They are discriminated, abused. Some cannot even attend forums like this. Some cannot even attend weddings. Because they believe they are not human beings, some say they disappear, they don't die natural death. So some of these myths make them to be very, very vulnerable. And in fact, at the end of it all, they face a lot of rejection, a lot of discrimination. And some of them, of course, end up even committing suicide. Some say they're bad omen. Remember, these are colleagues, these are human beings. So, and some, to make the matter worse, are even killed, as people believe their body parts can make some people rich. And that is exactly what we are zeroing in, so that at least we can see how change can come in. So I'll give a story of Jen. Jen was, of course, born from a humble background, and unfortunately, her parents were not all that able. So what happened was, Jen was previously discriminated. She had no proper housing. The house she was staying in had no door, just because of the myths that people believe. It was a mud-walled house, facing a lot of rejections from the people, from the family, and the community around. She had been abused several times, to the extent that she, at one point, had opted to commit suicide. And that is one of the things that most of the people normally do, and that's why they say they just disappear. Because they are discriminated so much to the level that they feel they would rather take away their life. So of course, the case with Jen, she had been raped 3 times in that house, and had even gotten 3 children, whose the fathers, of course, could not be identified. Of course, looking at the myths surrounding that, yes, some don't believe that they can give birth to normal children. And at times they are taken for a ride. People want to experiment on them. And that's how she came up to have 3 children without the father. So that is the life Jen used to live. But at one time, at one point, of course, that was in 2019, when we actually started the organization GAASPP, trying to blend and see how we can make this change. So we came in, and of course, just like these other many people, we had to do something. We call it small, but the joint effort and the success came as a result of the co-creation effort that we did. And of course, we built a house for Jen, giving her hope for future, for tomorrow. Without a house, of course, hope, that is it. And then we went further and trained Jen to give her skill, because it falls within the pillars that we are actually rolling around. You cannot do scale as an individual and make it holistic, because we had to bring in several other players. As I said, we co-create to ensure we have a holistic approach so that at least change can be realized. So Jen was trained in basket making, beadwork. She can do her own business, of course, in business trainings, courtesy of BI and MMH, of course, and other players that we normally engage within our engagement circle, because we cut across all sectors trying to pull efforts together. Because as it is, security is equally important, and we see it as a basic need. Now, having done that and training Jen on several aspects, even as a hairdresser, it raised her self-esteem. Now that, of course, she has a house, she has skill, she can now practice and do something. That made Jen to be, as we are talking, a trainer to other groups in the community, to the society, and even to schools and institutions. So she came out of that against some self-esteem as well. That raised Jen's dignity. Now Jen can walk. Jen has something at least to do. She gained respect from the community and from the peers. She is a living example, a serious ambassador that is now co-creating with other organizations as well, trying now to cascade down to what we are actually doing. She has food in her house because she has some skill she can now do, and of course, currently doing her own business just to sustain her and her family. Her children are in school, just like we are taking a number of our children who are living with albinism to school. Of course, we also consider the families with children, of course, with people who are living with albinism. We ensure at least, yes, their children also go to school. So Jen's children are in school. She's a creator of the impact of change. Of course, with that, having looked at all that, we couldn't have done it as a single entity. Yes, we should look at things in a different way. And the best way to us, the way we do it, is through a system. A system that we've come up with, of course, we've come up with something called a system changer network, where we embrace each other and creating win from both ends. And with this, we win, Jen wins, the community wins, and even the partner coming in also has a win. So I think together, we must create change. And thank you for that. Thank you.